Everybody, welcome back. We're doing another Marvel Future Revolution video. In this one, we're going to be talking companions. It's the best one for you based on character, based on overall skills. What's the best one for a free-to-play? What's the best one for a beginner? We're going to touch on all that. I like to do these every so often. It's been a hot minute since I've done one, I think. Maybe a few months. So I think some of the companions that came out, I covered them individually, but I want to look at it holistically again. So I gave some mini rankings, not quite the same as I do with characters, because with companions, a lot more, a number of them are very specialized and some of them are better for specific tunes. So we're gonna cover it a little bit more in that manner. So if you're new to the channel, check out the Discord link in the description below. That's probably the easiest way to follow along with content, chat, all that kind of thing. If you want to help out the algorithm, hammer down that like button, click notification bell, subscribe, and of course, YouTube's got new help for supporting channels if you want to do it. There's a membership thing kind of down there somewhere. So go ahead and check that out if you want to help support the channel, and let's get to it.
Bring me WolverThor!
Okay, companions. So I'm sure you're aware of what these are. They're a very critical game. They're stat sticks. They give you skills. You want to make sure that you've got the proper one fully equipped, that you can summon them. So the important parts are that some of them give you stats for anybody who's new. Some of them give you just stats if you get them. That you get that no matter what. And then these bonus effects, you get stats there if you have them equipped over on this right side. Cool? Easy enough. Now this top one, kind of at the pinnacle here, whatever one you've got there, you get to use their skill, and then you can enhance their skill with these tickets. So we're going to go over a little bit of all this. I'm mainly going to focus on specials. I guess I'll touch on rares real quick. Now you can see I've got a number of items on here. You guys might be able to see this decently well. Might be a little bit out of I'll zoom in a little bit to try to help a little bit with that. Let's see how is that for you guys. It's a little better. It covers up some of the stuff on the right, but that's okay. So what we've got here is I've highlighted a number of rare ones that are not bad. You'll see people using these. You've got Donna Ports, which has the stam recovery at 3.43 once you get them to 5 stars. And the skill actually does a skill damage % increase. So if you're looking for somebody that's a cheaper option, that's not as hard to build up as far as like specials go, Donna Ports might not be too bad, because you get these multipliers with this skill here. When you get those type of things, and what I mean by multipliers is if you got a bunch of like ways to increase your damage output, one of them skill damage, and you increase each one of those, the harder you're gonna hit. So Donna Ports isn't a bad one. Some people like Volstagg. You know, he's got the crit damage decrease. His 5-star stat is the range damage decrease. Okay. His skill gives some HP recovery. I think he's good for certain tunes, maybe like Magic or Captain America, something along those lines. Now, probably the most free-to-play friendly summon in the game is Ultron. Literally all you got to do to get this guy built up pretty high is at least 4 stars. You might even be able to get him to 5. Is level up all your tunes past Dormammu's story, and you'll get I think it's 30 shards of them. Now, this wasn't already originally in the game, so they changed this to help people get companions a bit easier. He's got a great bonus effect at 5-star, and his collection stats pretty solid as well. Skill-wise, he gives you a barrier. People see this and use this, and I've used it when I've got a low-level tomb and I'm farming overnight, or if I want to use it in PvP to survive a little bit more, or even just survive during PvE bosses that are too tough. He's not bad to use for that. The other one people have considered is Kasim. I don't like his bonus effects and collection stats for fighting purposes, but his skill actually is very interesting. It's kind of, I wish they would have given him a little bit different skill, like when someone gets I don't know, like a barrier and movement speed increase, because that means he would have been a perfect sort of character for that. But they've got a mishmashed a little bit where they've got some damage here and PvP damage decrease on if you landed on someone. So it's an interesting character, but primarily going to use him when you're leveling up. So focusing on the specials. Now, let's see. You guys can see this here, right? Yeah, okay. So Nick Fury is probably the one that I'm going to I'll start with. I got him. Well, let me say this differently. So we've got 4 down here that are sort of situational. Nick Fury's being one of them. He should, in theory, be better, but he's not. Right now, there is not a guard break. Well, one, he's got accuracy for his bonus effects. He gets accuracy and total damage, both decent stats. The collection stat on him isn't too bad. Movement speed, I don't love that. His skill, he basically sets up a barrier and helps with your guard damage situation. We like use him in raids with like Laufey. I think that's basically how you're gonna get him. I wouldn't stress too much about Fury. Next up in a situational type tune is Thor. So he's got the defense and attack upgrades, his accuracy rate in the collection. And remember, as you rank some of these things up, these different stats as you look in here, like stuff like this, go up. So if you see any of those things, or even in the skills, know that my skills aren't as high as they need to. So Thor's got some okay stat sticks on him. And he does a bunch of damage if somebody has shock stacks on them or shock damage already on the target. So for that reason, I like him for stuff like, ooh, look at that. We got to jump on that real quick. Go get in your raid. Remember that event from the other day. And so if you've got a storm or something like that, that's what you're going to look for here. And that's why you're going to use him in a situation, right? Now, Mordo is another situational type character. Okay stat-wise, XP gain. I don't love that for the collection. It's nice to have it, but I just don't like these mishmash of tunes. It's like, make them one or the other. The situational for him is basically if you've got Doctor Strange, if you've got Magic or Scarlet Witch. If you've got one of those three tunes, I highly recommend using Mordo because he's going to buff your attack, your alt gauge recovery, and your cooldown decrease. Those are three of the biggest and most important stats in the game. So for that purpose, I really like him. I'd love if I had him higher up for my Scarlet Witch. So for her, I would absolutely equip him. For Doctor Strange, I'd lean towards it, but his alt gauge is sort of who cares. Magic, absolutely, because she wants all three of those. And then the final kind of situational one is Spider-Man. His stats are dodge rate and rage damage decrease, and he's got a collection of dodge rate. Surprise, surprise. His skill is huge for Spider-Man. If you're a Spider-Man that needs a little bit more stack buffing, slow someone a little bit, just because you're not getting enough already, use Spider-Man. Now, I will say that Spider-Man, the player, character, is already super good, super strong, so you might not need this, but those are the situational ones. All right, so let's start working through these rankings, okay? So, and again, I didn't do them where it was a, like this is the first one and this is the second one. I didn't do that. I gave them a general rank so that I could kind of see it and just get a feel for it. I might change it over time. We'll see. So lowest, War Machine. I don't love his stats. I think, melee damage increase and decrease. He does some damage and knocks people down. I think that it might be okay in PvP group, but I don't necessarily love that. After that, I've got Ghost Rider. I actually would have loved to have him be a little bit better, but he's got a situation where he does more of his damage and is stun if you got a burn on him. His stats are great. Attack and defense, they're nice. Collection stats, XP again, it's like, and it's a lot of it, but still it's like, okay, again, a mishmash. But his skill, he can land a stun if you have a burn. But the problem is can you get a burn? You can't auto summon this guy. You want to make sure you got the burn. So if you get the burn and then you get them off at the right time and close to somebody and they don't dodge, then you can stun. That's a lot of boxes to check to get something to work. I don't like that. Next up, we've got Punisher. He's really good for supervillain just damage. That's basically it. I mean, use him in rage, use him all over the place. His collection stats attack. He does a bunch of damage to supervillains. I highly recommend it for PvE. Use him if you got him. I think he's pretty solid. Next up, I've got Gilgamesh. I've always wanted Gilgamesh to be a little bit better than he is. I've got him highly ranked in group PvP. That's that middle column there with the 4 of anybody. There's a sneak peek, but there's the PvP solo and all that stuff. But the PvP solo, which is this column, in PvE, nah, you're not really using them that much. Again, supervillain damage, okay. I'm not really gonna stun a supervillain, so I don't care for that. Melee damage increase, that's nice. His collection stats fine, but basically he does some damage. If you get it on somebody within that circle and they're not of it, then he can stun them. It can be huge for group wars, but otherwise not so much. So then we've got Vision. Vision has been one of the better ones since the beginning of the game. Movement speed for a collection stat, that's fine, it's not bad. The extra bonus effects, crit damage decrease, range damage decrease, both solid. Essentially what his skill does is he reduces damage taken for all nearby allies, so it's nice in a group setting, and does some damage. So I like it for group PvP settings. He's not bad for PvE settings if you need to reduce damage on something. I don't love him for solo PvP situations. So for that reason, I don't have him super high, but he's still solid. Next up, we've got Moon Knight. Now he could actually be higher because I love his stats here. The percent gains here on the bonus effects for attack is huge. His collection stat is attack. His skill is really interesting where basically he hits everybody and it tracks and he puts a dot on them. And when that dot hits to a peak or a full moon, they go blind. But I haven't seen a huge impact from that. It might be working as intended, but I don't love it. I think he could have a good impact in groups. But I haven't seen a big swing to using him in like Alliance or Mega War or anything like that. Next up, Thina. She was one of the first companions out there. Still top notch. Defense Pierce at 1.7 and then crit damage at a whopping 8. Collection bonus range damage decrease. She basically does some damage and then boosts your attack. You see everybody use her in PvE. So for that reason, she's like a top type 1. I put her just outside of Punisher. She's a great character. She's got good stats on her. Tons of people still use her and probably will for a long time. Next up, I've got Cersei. Bonus stats, they're okay. Movement speed, melee damage or range damage increase. You got the collection stat, melee damage decrease. Her skill is somewhat similar to Thina, but it puts a defense down on them. So if you're running with a group, it's nice to combo that up. Somebody use Thina to give you both the attack buff, and then the other person use Cersei to get the damage down, and it'll help you guys on the enemy, and it'll help you guys bring enemies down a little bit quicker. She's pretty solid, though a lot of people have her built up. Next up, I actually still have Yondu pretty high, believe it or not. So Yondu, his collection stat crit damage, which is great. His bonus, though, is kind of weird where it's EXP gain and movement speed. Again, he's one of those mishmash characters where the bonus effect stats are kind of like, I'd like that for leveling, but it's not super required. Skill, this is still one of the reasons why I've got him high up in PvP group and PvP solo, is it does some damage, and if it lands, it prevents somebody from actively dodging. And what I mean actively dodge is when you tap that dodge button, you can dodge, versus a passive dodge where if, just Spider-Man always passively dodges because his dodge rate's so high. So that's what I've got for Yondu. I think he's a solid character. You still see him around. Not a lot of people use him because he can be just run away from, but good character. All right, overall, next up, I have got Hulk. Now, the reason that he's so low, you'll notice he's got 1s on both PvP group and PvP solo, but I think he's basically worthless in PvE. There's no point to have him. So for that reason, he falls down overall as far as our overall ranking. But if you're looking for PvP stuff, he's top notch, not even close. Get him, he kicks major butt. Essentially, he falls down, he taunts, he provokes, he keeps people occupied. But the most annoying part about him is he's targetable. So it can be difficult to be either on the person you're fighting or on Hulk, and especially when it's a group setting. Hulks are everywhere. It is a serious pain in the butt. Next up at number 3, I got Icarus. He's been great since the beginning as well. Solid stats for PvP damage increase and decrease. He's got a good collection stat. His skill is just a high damage hit. So you almost always want to dodge this when he comes out. I don't even have mine built up that much, and he's already hitting for 1200% damage. It's sort of insane. It gets really, really high out there. Number 2, just to the game, is Wong. And I really like Wong. I think his stats are amazing. All the way from collection to the 5 and 6 star. I love cooldown decrease. I love stam recovery. I think that's all phenomenal. The stats up here are pretty solid. Skill. This is part of the reason why he gets ranked pretty high, is because you can actually use him everywhere. What he does is he removes debuffs on you and 3 nearby allies, and he allows you to be debuff immune. So he's fantastic in group settings, not just in PvP, but I just use him in raids to cleanse some stuff and keep my friends debuff immune. So it helped us do more damage. It reduced my damage a little bit, but it helped everyone do overall more damage so that they could attack. Now, I think he's solid. I don't know if you're going to see him much in PvP single situations because, frankly, there's not a lot of debuffs out there. But if Scarlet Witch comes out there and starts being a debuff heavy queen or something like that, you know, maybe the people against her are going to start using Wong to do that, be better. So now at number 1, believe it or not, I still have Daredevil. I was honestly floored by this. I like his stats, accuracy and crit damage, both solid. You know, his collection stat defense isn't bad, but his skill is what I really probably like best, is that in groups and solo, he comes down, he tracks the enemies, meaning if he will hit them no matter what, and he prevents them from passively dodging. That's all really good, and he hits pretty hard. I could probably boost mine, you know, even more. I guess it's 7 out of 8. The attack dodge could be disabled for a little bit longer. I mean, 3 seconds on that. That's quite a long time, you know, if you can land it. Now he can be dodged, so you want to use him properly. But it just sort of fell that way because I can see him in all game modes. Now, having said that, the stuff that I'm talking about, like I said, best free to play again, probably Ultron. All right, so you're gonna want to look at Ultron, try to get him built up. You know, you've got your character specifics. If you're looking for Scarlet Witch, I would go Mordo. If you're a lower Spider-Man who needs some stat boosts and needs help getting some of those stacks up, I would consider using Spider-Man. If you're a Storm, I would consider Thor, or even if you're a Shock Star-Lord, I would look at something like that. And then if you're looking at general, just what's the best, I really like Daredevil. Wong is the new hotness to an extent. Icarus is still tried and true. Hulk is still really annoying on those PvP situations. So that's where you could see it's kind of a range of situations. Some of this stuff's very situational. So while I have Daredevil ranked the highest, he's just the one that covers the most ground on different things. So that's what I got. I wanted to share this with you guys. Hopefully it's been helpful. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what if I've missed something. I mentioned earlier the Discord link in the description below. Come on down there. Comment below. Hammer down like buttons. Click notification bells. Subscribe to your aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, grandma, grandpas. Always got to like to do that. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.